So since this is the last section in the chapter, you know a few things are coming up. You know that a notebook quiz is coming up, and you know that a chapter test is coming up. So I'm going to give you guys one day to get your notes all ready to go. You won't have time in class to do it, but you will have tonight and Thursday night. Your notebook quiz is Friday. So again, you should have section 1-1, section 1-2, section 1-3, section 1-4, section 1-6. There is no section 1-5. All of that should be in your notebook before Friday. Did you have a question about 1-5? You don't need a 1-5. 1-5 was the measuring activity yesterday, so we didn't take notes. So if you're like, oh, I'm missing 1-5, there was no 1-5, so don't even worry about it. It was just something we did in class. You have a test next Tuesday, so we will do a little bit of review tomorrow, then the notebook quiz on Friday. That's all we're going to do Friday, so you might want to bring something else to work on, so you won't have homework over the week. Monday of next week, we're going to review. Tuesday of next week, we're going to take that test, and then you won't have any other quizzes or tests next week, so don't think you'll have another one on Friday. It's just not really enough time to cover material and quiz again. So that's what's coming up in the next couple days in here. Any questions? All right, today we are doing angles and their measures. It's section 1-6. Our objective is to measure and classify angles and to add angles. All right, so our first vocabulary word today is angle. An angle consists of two rays that have the same endpoints. So you have a ray going this way and a ray going another way. That is an angle. The place where those rays meet, where their endpoints touch, that is the vertex of the angle.
Do we have to draw that?
I would definitely draw that, yes. That'll be helpful. Now, there are several different ways to name angles. Like sometimes you'll see like a little 1 inside the angle, and we'll call it angle 1. Or sometimes you'll see like a letter at the vertex. We could call this like angle A.
Or half the square.
Now, if you have more than one angle with the vertex A, then we're going to have to name it the way we're going to do on the next slide. So if it's the only angle at that vertex, if it's the only angle at A, then you could just call it angle A. But more typically, you'll see it named with 3 letters. And then again, sometimes if there's a little number inside, you could call it angle 1 or angle 2 or whatever. So, do you see why I can't just call this angle Q? Yeah, maybe this is angle Q, maybe the littler one on the bottom is angle Q, maybe the big one's angle Q. So angle Q is not an option right now. You have to use 3 letters. The vertex always has to be the letter in the middle. So let's talk about the first one, the top one first. So, where does this angle start? P. Then it goes down to
Q.
Then it goes to S. So this is angle PQS. Now you could also call it SQP. That's the exact same angle, as long as the vertex is the letter that's in the middle. All right, let's talk about the little one on the bottom. What's S? Then what?
R.
No, you can't do the R. SQR. The Q has to be the one in the middle. Now, there is actually one more angle here. Anyone know what it is?
PQR.
PQR. Very good. The big one. Starting all the way at the top, P, then that vertex Q, and then down to the R. Good. Now, you see me drawing this symbol? This is just the symbol for angle. So you would say out loud, angle PQS, angle SQR, angle PQR. Notice Q is all the vertex, Q is always in the middle. What are your questions? All right, the first vocabulary word on this slide is degrees. Degrees is the way that we measure angles. You probably are familiar with the symbol for degree. It's the same as when you're talking about temperature or angle measurements. It's just that little sort of like an O up in the upper right-hand corner. So let's say we want 90 degrees. The 90 is regular size, and then just a little circle up upper right. Now, congruent angles are two angles that have the same measure. So let's say I have a 30-degree angle and a 30-degree angle. We would call those congruent angles. Congruent angles have the same measure. Now, in geometry class, sometimes you'll know that they're congruent, but you don't know exactly what the measure is. When that's the case, you might see like a little arc mark with like some sort of symbol on it, like just one little dash, or sometimes it's two little tick marks. If the marking's the same on two angles, you can assume that they have the same measure. So you'll start to see those within the next chapter. But just so you know, that's what that means. If they have the same marking, that means they have the same measure, they're congruent. Questions? All right, here's a little chart about the way we classify angles.
You have to write that.
Yes, you need to write this.
Aww.
I'm going to tell you what to put in the middle, though. So I'll do the first one as you're writing so you can fill it in. The first one is an acute angle. Acute angles look sort of like that. They are between 0 and 90 degrees. I like to think of them as cute little angles. Acute?
No, that's a cute angle.
Yes, it's a acute angle. If you are not sure what the 90-degree mark is, that's that right angle that you're probably used to seeing. That's the one with the box in it. So if you see the box in it, you know it's 90 degrees. Anything smaller than that is a cute little angle. Acute. Now, anytime you go bigger than a right angle, you are an obtuse angle.
Can you slow down a little?
Sure.
I'm still on the right angle.
Okay. Some people like to think of the word obese when they think of the word obtuse. They both start with OB. Obese means like you're larger. These are larger angles, so if that helps you, the two first letters. Now, if you take an obtuse angle and you keep stretching it and stretching it and stretching it, you will end up with a straight angle. Straight angles measure exactly 180 degrees. I'm sure you've heard 180 in like sports. When you turn halfway around, yeah, like, oh, we did a complete 180. That means you were facing this way, or you were facing, now you're facing this way. People use that a lot if you're talking about someone's personality, like if they went from being super nice to being like really, really mean to you, like, oh, they did a total 180. That's what that means. It's totally in opposite directions. Do you see on your protractor how there's like a little crosshair in the bottom, in the middle? Right there. Has everyone located that?
Yeah.
You want to start by drawing a straight line, and you want to place those crosshairs right on top of the line. So your protractor should look like this right now.
Like this?
You're going to draw a straight line, then you're going to put the end of that straight line right in those crosshairs. And the rest of the straight line should be going through your protractor right there at the 0 mark.
And the other end? Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure.
The 0's that way.
It might say, one side says 0, the other one doesn't say anything. So if it doesn't say anything, that's fine.
What's that? Wait, which way? What's the first degree?
Draw a straight line.
No, I mean the first degree for them. You know. How do I put this?
Did you draw a straight line? Step 1 is to draw a line.
I did.
Where's your line? Oh, okay. So you want this at the end point, right? There. And through those crosshairs, right like that. And then you want this to go right. Loosen up a little. I can't spin it when you're touching
What is I can loose?
No, like loosen your grip on your protractor. You're like pushing it down really hard. There. That's how you want it. Okay, don't move it.
Yeah, but it's not.
Okay, do you see how there are 2 scales on here?
Yeah.
Would it make more sense to start from our line and count up by 10s, or to count down from 180 by 10s? It probably makes sense to just start at 0, right, and count up. That's what we're going to do. Find sometimes it's on the top, sometimes it's on the bottom, but find the one that starts with 10. And then you're going to count up on that scale until you reach the number we're looking for. We are looking for 154. So I'm going to go all the way over to this side. This should be an obtuse angle. If yours is looking acute, it's because you're using the wrong side of the protractor. Between the 150 and the 160 will be 154, a little closer to the 150. So there's 155, like right there. You need to just take your pencil and draw a little mark there. Now, once you have that marked off, and of course I can't show you on the board because that's just a picture of a protractor, it's not an actual protractor. I just want you to wait until I'm done, like I said 3 times. You put your pencil at that starting line, pick your protractor up once you have this little tick mark drawn in, and then you are going to connect the vertex to the line you just drew. And that is a 154-degree angle. Okay, now you can do the same process for the 90-degree angle. So, again, you want to just start with a straight line. You want to line your protractor up, the crosshairs in the middle of the protractor, the little T. You want to put that right on your vertex. And then you want to make sure the other line is going through the thick line over here that represents 0 degrees. In one way it's marked 0, the other way it's not, so it just sort of depends how you're holding your protractor. And then we are following the scale on the bottom this time because it's going 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I want to stop at 90. So when I see the 90, I'm just going to put just a little bitty mark so I know where the 90 was. I'm going to pick my protractor up. I'm going to use the straight side to connect the 2. And since it's 90 degrees, you should probably put the little box in there. So the directions tell you exactly what to do, but I will tell you sort of when you encounter it on a worksheet why we're adding in one and subtracting in the other. Do you see here how we are given the measure of the smaller 2 angles? Everybody see that? When you're given the measure of the smaller 2 and you want to find the big one, all you have to do is add them. So we are just simply doing 40 plus 30. Which is? 70 degrees. Good. That is the first one. Now, the next one is a little different just simply because of this mark right here. This red little arc mark. Do you see how that extends the entire angle? That means the whole angle is 135 degrees. And then angle DBC is only 60 degrees. We're looking for CBA. So if you're given the whole measure and then this little chunk's going to be taken out, all we have to do is subtract. Good. So we're doing 135 degrees minus 60 degrees. Anybody have it?
75 degrees.
75 degrees, very good. Any questions on this?
Oh, wait, hold on. I need to catch up.
Okay, I'll give you some time. All I need to know, though, right now is if you have any questions. Do I need to explain it any further, or you just need some time for writing?